I guess
Time to get
our
started.
viewers need no introduction. Joining on this lovely show tonight of a Champions League special, we have Umar Amin, Abdullah Khattab, and Abdul Rehman, which is myself. So, guys, two games tonight. All right. Um, Liverpool 2, Leipzig nil, and Liverpool advance on a 4-0 aggregate. And on the other hand, um, PSG won, Barcelona won, with PSG advancing on a 5-2 aggregate. So obviously, we're gonna start with the latter because a 5-2 always seems much nicer than the 4-0.
Not
And the
that the
game
4-0
itself,
is too bad, you know. That's actually probably one of the better results.
it's a better result, but it was boring. That game was boring. I watched both legs, and like I think that was my curse as a football podcaster. uh, it's the professions we choose. Professions. Still looking for sponsors. Anyone?
Yo, tea time, if you're
Slip.
watching this, you're out there. You know what to do.
Our rate is very low. And it's a lot of watch time, and you never know. Give us your best shot. You know, out here in the Middle East, not many like us. Anyways, moving on. After shameless sponsoring of ourselves,
Pleading for sponsors, huh?
pleading for
But
sponsors, sponsoring for sponsors, advertising for advertisements.
it fits the color with tea time as well, with the Two Halves
Well, we
podcast.
can
Oh,
change. Don't worry. The guys,
they want us
whatever they
coming
want.
in rainbow colored. We're coming in rainbow
No,
colored.
I'll wear
See,
a tea time shirt. I'll wear a tea time hoodie. It's fine.
I'll do a lot more. Ah. Anyways, Abdullah,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah, let's
let's
move
talk
away from
about Champions League,
tea
Champions
time
League
to
time.
Barcelona. Let's go. Now that was a good game.
5-2 on aggregate, but just before that, 1-1 tonight. Let's like talk through the match, okay? Um, Barcelona opened up in a fury, right? A lot of balls through went, behind that PSG defense. First 30 minutes, they looked very promising. What were your thoughts at that time in the first 30 minutes alone?
I felt we should have easily gotten a goal or two during those first 30 minutes, honestly. Like, the way Barcelona came out today is exactly the way I wanted them to come out today. We pressed Paris Saint-Germain from the first minute until the end almost of the game, I believe. We had so many chances, but unfortunately, as you know, in football, if you miss, you concede. And in this case, Barcelona kept on missing until we conceded a penalty through a weird, bizarre Clement Longley mistake. Who, honestly, at this point, like, I wasn't angry during that moment. I was just
Yeah.
surprised. Like, I don't understand like what's happening at this point. Like, there's no explanations to these. Like, even the referee himself. That's why the play kept on going after what happened. Because normally, think in this situation, nothing usually happens. A normal player, a normal human being in this situation, this wouldn't happen. But like, when you remember, like, I think the referee midway, like when the attack was going the other way after that, after Icardi fell in the box, I think the referee realized midway that, oh shit, it was actually Clement Longley. So there might actually be something this time. Let me go and check.
You
Because
sure? You sure
I
that's
think
what the ref thought? Like, oh, it was
I think
Clement
that's
Longley.
I think VAR remembered that. I think they realized that, oh shit, it might actually be something because it's Clement Longley. Any other player, it wouldn't have been suspected to do anything. But looking at Clement Longley's track record this season and the type of mistakes that he commits, this was one of them. Like, I don't know what happened. He accidentally stepped on Icardi's foot somehow. It doesn't make any sense. Like, the ball was going towards Ter Stegen anyway. It wasn't a dangerous chance in terms of, like, there's no need for it in terms of like an intentional tackle trying to stop a goal scoring chance. There was nothing there. So Price were pressing me, missed chances, and then that penalty comes. And at that point, Paris Saint-Germain had zero chances on goal. So
They had, yeah, they had
they
nothing.
didn't really threaten at that point. So when they got that penalty, I felt like, okay, we scored goals, so this doesn't change anything in terms of the players' mentality. We had to score four anyways, regardless if we concede a goal or two. We have to score four or more. So it doesn't change anything. So I felt like confident going forward because we were creating the chances today. If you look at Barcelona in the past couple of years, their eliminations, the problem has always been it hasn't been really creating chances. It's always been finishing those chances. Like even games like Liverpool, even the game against Bayern in the first 20 minutes, the chances that we could have scored in that. Like there's a lot of these games, a lot of these moments where we miss a
Yeah.
lot of these chances. Today we saw that as well. Barcelona created endless chances. I think by the end of the game, we had 21 shots almost, 18 chances created, and complete domination. Honestly, like I was proud of the way that the team played today. And I said this before the game. Like regardless of the whole remontada, comeback talks and everything else, like it was a dream. Obviously, it was a very loud, like ambitious shout, but I wanted initially the team to come and put a dignified performance today, and they did. I like the way we played today. I like the way we lined up. I like the way certain individuals in the team as well performed. Messi was unfortunate today. I thought that first goal was absolutely like I honestly like
Bizarre. That was insane.
you cannot describe Messi anymore. Honestly, like I hate that I've reached to the point where I'm like thinking when I want to describe him of like okay, I don't want to be cliche because everything that's been used to describe this guy has like it's already been used. Like there hasn't been a word that hasn't been used to describe this man and what he can produce on the pitch. And that shot was out of nowhere. Like I think the XG on that was like 0.01 in terms of a chance it
I
was.
don't. I think it must have been
It
less
was,
than
it
zero
was, it
point
was, it
one.
was, and the
It
penalty
must
was a
have been less than 0.1.
0.77, I think. So that was
No,
like
penalty. All penalties are the same.
mhm. So
All penalties are the same, and they're usually a lot higher than 0.8. But
the shot itself, the Messi goal, it was
yeah,
0.01, I think, the chance for it. So it was a very
right.
low probability for him to score from that area, from that distance. So I was honestly shocked. Even if it was Messi, I did not expect him to take it in that way. Like it's not even like Messi
He doesn't
has
usually
his
take those
he doesn't take
shots.
it in that manner. Like he does take shots from outside the box, and he scores a lot of them. By the way, he has a good record from outside the box, but from that distance and with that technique as well, it wasn't like a curling finesse shot or anything
That
like we've
power
seen
that
from
he got
Messi.
into that
It
shot,
was
you
a
know.
rocket. It was a rocket that even Navas, it looked like he was blown away by the wind from that ball. The way he went back into the net from the power of that shot. Honestly, like it was just satisfying to see, like the way it went in, the way Navas fell backwards. Everything was satisfying about that goal. But unfortunately, later on at the end of the half, we got the penalty we needed. I was just saying that a goal right now would be perfect. Before the half ends, we take the lead. That would mentally shake Paris Saint-Germain. That would have been a massive turning point for Barcelona. But unfortunately, Messi hit that. Navas saved, hits the crossbar, and unfortunately, the first half ends 1-1, and Messi misses a crucial penalty in such a moment. Despite
Yeah,
being
for
obviously the man of the
sure.
match on that pitch, there was no player better than Lionel Messi on that pitch, honestly. But Keylor Navas is a good shout. Like,
I would think in my books, I thought Keylor Navas was the man of the match.
but
Let's
I
be
think I
fair.
think I think I think
I
in terms of
think
a goalkeeper, like yes, but like what Messi does, like
okay.
what he did today,
No,
like in terms of a play,
no,
he
no,
was
no.
untouchable today. He was untouchable
Sir,
today.
just hold on a second. You've talked a lot. There's a couple of things that we need to go over.
Okay,
All right,
go over it.
including this man of the match thing. I think there's a hint of biasness in it. I
Really,
thought
from me
I
or
thought
you?
from you.
Oh, really? Keylor Navas played
I
for
mean,
you as well.
no, like the guy saved the penalty. He was insane all
The guy
game.
scored a long shot from the mid of the from a dead angle, from a
He
dead
also
area,
missed
And
a
he
and
also missed a
penalty.
but
penalty
he
worth
also
the
was the best player.
0.77
Why are you
XG.
looking just at the negatives though? Like you're
No,
forgetting
that
everything he did on that pitch, the chances he created,
that's
the goal he
literally the
scored.
positive and negative.
Of
He
course,
had a
but
great game. No, I'm not saying he had a bad game. He had a
now
great
he had a
game.
beyond great
I
game. He
think
was,
his
I
SOFA
feel,
score rating was like 7.5. Like I mean,
I
I
haven't
think
checked it.
Killer Navas's was higher.
I haven't checked to be honest, but Let's see.
I'm not much for these ratings anyways, because a
See,
lot of the times
the thing about Messi is that we all know he's the greatest player of all time. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
yeah,
The way
And some
he,
people do doubt that though somehow.
I think the doubt is more about his mentality rather than his ability.
I think uh, there's no doubt like around that. It's just that, you know, how some results have come in his career, right? Both like the tag of being a bottler, quote unquote, whether it's him, whether it's team, there is a lacking of, like, you know, perhaps a mental side that some other greats have had, and that's, listen, no, there's no one player that has everything that can have like the elite mentality, elite skills, but on a purely footballing perspective, I think, you know, there's not an opinion, right? Just on footballing like aspects, Messi's the greatest. There is no doubt about that. There's no second opinion. But then when you start bringing on other things, like, you know, performances at crucial times, uh, you know,
Right.
then it gets a little bit
Performances at
questionable.
crucial times. I mean, come on.
I mean,
Man.
we're not gonna get into that debate.
Yeah,
That's like a
that's a long
whole.
talk. It's a long talk, but like
It's
I
a whole
don't
long
really
talk.
give any credibility to that, to be honest. Like we've seen
Let's go
Messi
more
show up
back to
in.
the like match. So, man of the match is Keylor Navas on like every single thing. By the way,
Okay.
like,
You can give him. I'm
it's
saying on the pitch, like in terms of impact, like player, not like an outfield player. Like let's say
from outfield player, definitely. I
he
think he
was,
was
yeah.
the best
But yeah,
on that. And
obviously,
like,
Keylor Navas was crucial today. I think he made like
so
nine saves today, and he was integral in Paris Saint-Germain
I
not
mean, he
conceding
also
two, three,
saved
four
that
goals today.
penalty.
Of course, yeah. I'm
I
also
mean, I
beyond the
think
penalty. Beyond the
I
penalty, I
think a
think.
lot of the saves that he made were just parried at him, but there were, I think there must have been at least three saves, the two from Dembele, and that penalty, that probably alone would have normally resulted in at least two goals. That was a very very high like xG chances goals. But I wanted to talk about the both of the penalty incidents. First of all, going back to the penalty awarded to Paris Saint-Germain. Omar, we saw something similar yesterday, didn't we? Of Haaland running into Koundé, and like, again, the ball was just going into the goalkeeper's hands, and Koundé just tucked the guy. Like, you know, Haaland's a big, strong guy. He was bodying every defender left, right, and center, but at that point in time, he chose to hit the ground, and smartly so. He got a penalty, and, you know, he scored. Well, he missed and he scored, but still.
He didn't really hit the ground. I mean, he scored, didn't he? He scored. He scored the original chance, which was then brought back as a foul.
I mean, yeah, that in itself was like a whole, like, I think the
That's a whole
actual
separate
penalty
issue.
incident, yeah, I think the actual penalty incident on its own kind of
Yeah.
got like blurred in all that mess, right? And then today again, you know, the ball was going to Ter Stegen's hands, and my man Longley and Icardi have this run in together. Icardi's not getting that ball ever, just like Haaland yesterday is not getting that ball ever. How are these two penalties? Like, how was yesterday a penalty and how was today's a penalty?
Thing is about yesterday. I think yesterday was just a completely different thing, even with the whole other controversy we mentioned. Him scoring the goal and then it being chalked off. Like, I don't know what's going on there. But today,
Okay, but like, I think if yesterday, if it's not a penalty, the goal stands.
the goal stands. Yeah.
So that's like completely different. But I'm
Mhm.
talking about, like, you know, the snapshots of it being given as a penalty in both of these incidents.
Hmm. I feel like today it was more about Icardi winning that penalty rather than Longley giving it away. You know, I mean, he definitely made a lot more of that. There was nothing in there. There was actually nothing in there. The ball was.
He just stepped on his ankle or heels, and I mean, that this happens all the time. That's a very soft penalty.
I feel like if this was outside the box where referees are a lot more strict, this wouldn't have been given as a foul. And the fact that it was inside the box and it was given, I mean, it's mind-boggling. Like, I don't understand what's going through the mind of Anthony Taylor. But then again, this is the reason why there were no English referees at the World Cup, because you just can't trust them. You can't trust them. There's a running joke amongst Chelsea fans, like whenever the referee's schedule comes out, and it's like, is the referee bald? And just by that, you can tell if they're gonna be good or not. And Anthony Taylor has a history of giving a lot of wrong decisions, I think, in the Premier League and like the domestic competitions in England. And today, and at the big stage in the Champions League, at a crucial moment, at that time, it's 0-0. Barca are just going at it, attack after attack, and he bottles it once more, gives that penalty.
I mean, I didn't see it in the retrospect that Abdullah just mentioned, that like Barcelona had to score 4 goals anyways, right? But in that moment, I thought, oh, right, this has changed the game, because now, PSG have scored a goal. I was not aware that Barcelona still had to score 4. And then came the second penalty incident after that amazing goal by Lionel Messi. What a hit. We've gone over that, but should that have been a red card since Kurzawa was already on a yellow?
Yes.
Again,
See. Now.
I wonder who the Barcelona fan here is. See, it's one of those, again, I feel, where the referees are a bit more strict. If it's outside the box,
But is that going to be a
That's
yellow
maybe,
outside the box? I don't think so. That's just like a 50-50. Like, it's not really... sometimes it's barely a foul.
I mean, well, Abdullah, what do you have to say for that? Let's start off with you.
I feel like it should have been a second yellow. Like he was also getting away with a lot of other tackles as well. So I feel like during that moment, like the way he went in,
he should
the
have
way
been
he
sent
went
off on a 50-50, where he actually got some of, like, where he made contact with the ball as well.
But it was dangerous as well, because Griezmann's like he went for Griezmann's like almost under his knee, like in a way. Like it was a very dangerous way to go in, like on a 50-50. Inside the box as well, you don't want to lift your leg that high. Like in terms of just defensive awareness, like you wouldn't be going into a chance like this with like a tackle like that on a yellow inside the box. I feel like he should have been
He was just going
punished.
for the clearance. He was just going for the clearance.
It was too close to Griezmann. It was too close to Griezmann to go for like a clearance like that. So I feel like
I think the fault of Kurzawa there is that he even gave the referee like an opportunity to think about sending him off.
because he knew.
That's true.
When you're already on a yellow inside the box, just Griezmann's not going anywhere with that, in the sense that he has to take maybe a touch or two before he can do something, So just let it be. But he gave that opportunity to Barcelona and they got the penalty.
Well,
it didn't go in. Well, it doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter now. Do you think that other one was a penalty? The one on, I think it was Dest running?
Dest on
I don't
Navas?
think so. Like I thought it was
Navas on Dest?
Yeah.
I don't really see it as much. I think if you want to make shouts for something that went wrong, I think I just saw it. Verratti was in the box when that penalty was taken.
That was something that I was gonna bring up.
I thought because they also took a pause after that penalty to check it as well, so they must have seen it. Like assuming they must have seen it, because they did go for another potential check after that penalty was missed. So I'm surprised like they didn't replay that penalty or anything. We've seen it replayed before, and if he's in the box clearly, like it should have been replayed. But
I've said it before and I'll say it again. No English referees at the World Cup for a reason.
Or at the Euros or at any Champions League knockout game from now on.
Just keep them away. They're just incompetent, honestly.
But those are two instances where you'd think, as like Abdullah, you as a Barcelona fan, it's those kind of decisions that could have really, helped you guys, right? If Kurzawa gets sent off, even if Messi misses the penalty, you guys are playing against a defender less, 10 men, anything can happen. And in the instance that, Kurzawa gets sent off, that penalty gets retaken, and then second time either Messi or Griezmann score.
Stop it.
No, but you
Stop
gotta, you
what
got.
if scenarios. I hate them, man. Oh yeah, what
But
if? Imagine a red
this
card,
is
Messi scores the penalty or gets a three taken, scores
this
it.
is what
It
you'll
would
be
have been
going
two
through at
one.
night.
Yeah.
You know, when you're like, when your head hits the pillow, and you're going to sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just trying to get it out of your system now.
No, it is. There's a lot of what if scenarios, but like, um, I think like the fact that like I didn't come into this game expecting a comeback 100% helps with that. Usually I'd feel more like what if we scored this, what if we scored that, because today is the ultimate what if game, honestly, like this season for Barca. Like we had so many of these moments, like what if Kurzawa got sent off, what if the penalty was retaken, what if Dembele finished like the 3-4 crucial chances he had in this game, what if the shot he took that hit the crossbar went in, what if, like, there's so many chances in this game, so many moments in this game where this game could have had a turning point, whereas Barcelona could have actually went for the full comeback that was really out of reach. And I think everyone felt it today. Just before that penalty, when Barca got that penalty, I think everyone felt it. Oh, like they actually, like, they have a shot. Like there's a chance that they can do it. So like I feel like there's a lot of these scenarios, but like congratulations, I guess, like Paris Saint-Germain that finally like beaten Barcelona in the knockout stages and knocked us out.
I
So
think that's like the first time they've done it,
yeah,
like, well, in
so
front
it's
of my
fine.
eyes, right?
Yeah. I'm just glad the way we performed. We outperformed them like in their own home ground, I guess. But it's a step forwards in terms of going towards the future. And I'm glad that a lot of players like Pedri, Moriba, and all these guys got minutes today in a game such as this, and the way they performed as well. I'm glad they got minutes in a game like this. I think going forwards, it gives them that confidence and experience to play in games of this magnitude and even bigger. So we went out with that, with our heads held high, even though the aggregate score might look deceiving. 5-2 might look like we've been, destroyed completely over two games. But I feel like going forwards, like the team is on course towards a potential domestic double with the league and cup. So we're still in those competitions. We're in the final. We're second in the league, close, and we have a shot in that. So this is a big results going forward, I guess. And this is the first time in years where we're in this position in terms of, usually we're on the opposite side, we're winning, and then the other team makes a comeback on us. So it's refreshing to be kind of in this position where you're behind and you're the one wanting to make the comeback, instead of being afraid that the other team is going to make the comeback on you, like it's been for us in the past few years.
So
So
let me get this straight. We're happy that we lost the first leg, not the second leg.
no, it feels less this time. It feels less this time. Yeah, honestly, like
Uh-huh.
I'm sick of
Are you
bottling.
just
I'm sick of bottling the like
that
big leads in the first leg. That's what I'm saying. Both
Alba
situations
FC?
suck. Obviously, I would prefer
Alba
Barca to
FC, just
qualify.
listen me out. Alba FC just lose the first leg next time. Abdullah will be happy. uh,
No, I just hate
I
bottling.
really, I
Like I've
really
been
hope
sick of.
your new president doesn't, share
Mm.
these sentiments, and I hope he likes winning both of the legs.
No, obviously, like we're
Like
in
if you
different
had to
predicament.
choose
Like
between the two, you'd prefer
yeah,
losing the
worst
first leg,
case,
yeah.
like the lesser of two evils, honestly. Like it's better to be in that position. Like we fought today,
Yeah,
we actually scared them in at some point in the game, and we did our part. I think it was just a matter of missed chances and in crucial moments, and you have to bury those if you want to make a comeback of this, magnitude in a way. Like,
you
it's
know,
not easy. It's been pulled off once, and the team who pulled it off was us. So we
yeah,
had to outdo ourselves again,
I
and for
want to
that
make
to
a
happen, you have to bury
comparison
your
to that
chances.
game. I want to make a comparison to that game. I thought, on like football perspective, I thought Barcelona played better today, bar the free kicks and the luck that they got in the 6-1. I thought Barcelona played better today. They were unlucky, and that magical moment that Neymar brought with that free kick going in, and that was like, an insane moment.
Yeah.
Without that, like, just on like the kind of football, the chances they created, I thought Barcelona were better tonight than that 6-1.
There's another comparison. Didn't a certain number 10 miss a penalty in that game as well?
Did he?
I think he did. It was.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure it was Messi. I think
Which one are
he
you talking about? Which game? Which game again?
6-1.
Well, Messi scored a penalty.
I
Didn't
think
miss
he
a
missed
penalty.
one as well.
No, he scored the penalty. Didn't miss one.
There was a player who missed a penalty as well,
No
and I
one missed
think
a
it was.
penalty, man. No one
Are
missed
you
a penalty.
sure?
No. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Okay then.
Messi. That was 2012 against Chelsea. The last time he made
Oh, he
No,
missed.
that is
That's like
for
a
sure
different story,
remembered.
to be honest.
2012 is remembered.
No one missed a penalty in
I'm
the 6-1
fairly
comeback.
certain that someone missed a penalty in the 6-1. I'm fairly
Really?
certain about this. Yeah, I do know that Messi did score a penalty later on in the game, but I think it was still early on.
No,
So
Neymar scored a penalty.
Neymar.
Messi scored a
Messi
penalty.
also scored a penalty.
Yeah, no one missed a penalty.
But like in that 6-1, there were a lot of other things. How
It was
like not
moments,
sure.
like you said. I think I want to reply to your point as well. Like you mentioned those moments. We had those moments today, but they just didn't happen. Like that Messi penalty could have been that Neymar moment in a way.
Yeah,
That penalty at the end of the half.
in one way.
It
Yeah.
could have been
Well,
that moment.
I would relate the Messi, the Neymar moment more to be of Messi's long shot. That was like the moment of magic that Barcelona probably needed to get that spark today, and they got that. But they got unlucky with the uh, perhaps the red card decision, perhaps the penalty not going in, but like on football perspective on the pitch, I think Barcelona played better today. I think PSG bottled it more in the 6-1 as well, with the own goal and with other things. And today PSG, like, I know we've talked a lot about
It
Barcelona.
was Kurzawa as well, that own goal, the deflection of. And he gave a
Yeah.
penalty as well in that game.
So I want to talk about PSG a little bit. In the second half, I think they calmed down, and after the first 30 minutes, right? Like they had like no idea in the first 30 minutes. After the first 30 minutes, they started getting a grip, right? Especially after they scored, they kind of like calmed down a little bit more. But then the penalty happened, and you'd think, oh, all right, this is where they're gonna lose it. But I'm interested, like what Pochettino told his players, because when they came out in the second half, they looked like a different side. They looked much more composed on the ball. They looked like they knew what they were doing. What they were doing in the first half was just booting it up and just trying to make that break, just the most direct way possible. Like cross it over L1 triangle to Mbappe, let him run on through, and that kind of changed in the second half. In the second half, they came when they had the ball. They tried to keep it for slightly longer, and I think that might have had more of a devastating effect on Barcelona's attack after attack after attack, building that momentum that they can break down PSG any moment. And I think that's where they just tired out Barcelona, and I think that's why the game ended 1-1.
Now that's a good point that you've made as well, because they did make changes around the 60th minute. That's when Di Maria and Danilo Pereira as well came in for Draxler and Idrissa Gana Gueye. So I think that's when the game started like slowing down in terms of the pressure that Barca was starting to put on, and Paris were starting to regain a bit of the ball back during those minutes. But like that's when they also created their most chances. Like they got a few chances late at the end of the game. But before that, they were barely creating any chances in terms of goal scoring chances. I saw like Barcelona were definitely the better team today, but again, comes down to finishing your chances. And PSG got that one penalty and they took it. So like they didn't come out there
Hindsight,
to
it doesn't
win
really
today.
matter.
They did not come out there to beat Barcelona again today. They just came out to hold out the first leg victory today. That's what I felt. And they managed to get a draw at least. Like it's not a loss or a humiliation for them, even though it could have been. It could have been a massive comeback for Barca, but again, we go again next season. I guess like it's finally over the last 3 years and the past exits, like this exit feels the most relaxing to me out of them all, because
In the
there's
past 3
been
years or in the past 5 years?
I guess
You
I guess
think
you can say the past.
comparing this, like I still remember that 3-0 versus Juve, right? I thought
Mm.
this was much better than that exit. At least Barca showed fighting spirit now, and versus Juve, it was like the most dead rubber of a game that I've seen
The second
in
leg, yeah,
like
the 0-0
in
after that
champion.
3-0 defeat.
Yeah, I turned. I went to sleep. I
Hmm.
think it was
No, that
that
was
boring.
true, 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 true. That was
Uh,
a bad one as well.
and then after
That
that, there was the series of defeats. Obviously, that
there was
were
one against
infamous.
Atletico, I think, in 2016.
But I just think I don't remember that very well. But I think that in 2016, Atleti were just very good. They went out, knocked Barca, they knocked out Bayern. They were just very good on their own. Uh,
Yeah, true.
so
But I would say this exit honestly feels like it feels like a promising exit in a way because there's a lot of good signs that we can take away from today's game and the past week, and things are looking like brighter in terms of like the team's future. We just I
mhm.
think right now, if we're looking at FC Barcelona and what we need right now going forwards, we need a center back and we need a striker. We need a finisher because the amount of chances we created today, 3, 4 goals should have been scored at least out of these chances. And someone like Erling Haaland would have buried those chances. So I feel like we know now what we need. We clearly need a number 9 goal scorer. And the only person that can fill that role at the moment and can fill it for a long, long time is Haaland at the moment for Barca. And
Looks like it'll be the battle for Erling Haaland this summer.
it is because it is honestly like a center back and a striker, honestly, and we're good. The rest is covered. A left back, we have Balde from the second team that is coming up as well, who can receive chances. There's a lot of positions in the team that can be filled by
I
a
mean,
lot of our.
Alba's not going anywhere. You got a couple of years in him too.
No, please,
Um,
man. No, 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 no,
I'm just waiting for
no.
that videotape to come out like at the end of the season. Him crying at halftime, probably. Uh,
He's been good lately, to be fair. Like I think he's confused me on
I
the whole.
mean, it helps when you don't have any defensive responsibilities.
Um, it's the same can go for Busquets and others as well. Like I guess like the tactics have worked in his favor in terms of that, but he has been finishing chances that he doesn't usually finish, which is surprising. Today he did frustrate me a lot of the times when it came to crosses and chances that he could have done better in. I felt like he rushed a lot of his crosses in certain moments where he could have been a bit more patient. And that's the most annoying part with Jordi Alba is he can come up with a game like the one against Sevilla and the other games as well. He can score goals and perform, and then he can come up today and back to the aimless crosses and the mistakes that he commits in the attack as well. Frustrating because you know what he can produce in if he just puts his head into the game. You know what he can like score at sometimes. You know what he can make the fantastic runs that Messi can see, and he's been
Hmm.
vital in a lot of these games. But again, I'm confused on the whole Alba thing. I'm torn at the moment whether I want him to leave or go. I do not want him to be still our starter like next season or the season after. I think it's time to move on from Alba. Even though he does still put on like great performances every now and then, but I feel like we should move on post Alba, and I feel like we have the players that are ready to step in for him at the moment. Or we just go out and get a left back. I mean, like
I,
sell Alba and get a left back. But
I,
it's
I,
just that he's been performing good that it's hard for me to say sell him when he's performing good. Like,
I think the best example to use here would be of Manchester United when they bought Alex Telles. They bought him to compete for the starting 11, challenge Luke Shaw. And we've seen like a completely different Luke Shaw like this season. I think he's created the most chances in the top 5 leagues in the world, which from left back is
He's been insane.
yeah, it's absurd. And I feel maybe if Barcelona can go get someone to challenge Jordi Alba, it might bring out the best in him.
it's not like he's like in his he's not like a 24-year-old like left back.
He's
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 in
he's
his
at the
30s,
latter
33,
stages.
33.
So we
Yeah.
shouldn't be challenging him. We should be taking him out of the lineup. He should be there nurturing the next
But
left back, or
as you
even
but as you say, with performances like these, like he has been
mm,
recently, I mean, could it be justified to get rid of him?
I
I as
think,
as a
yeah.
non-Barcelona fan, I think it would be incredibly harsh to just sell him in this form. I think you should keep him, stick him there for another 8, 9 years until his retirement.
I think he could play to 40, 42 easily. He's the best specimen a footballer has to offer.
Oh wow. No, he
Play
doesn't.
him as striker. I'm pretty sure he'll finish all those chances too. Okay, we've spoken about exits, right? And sure, like Jordi Alba can stay or leave, but more importantly, have we seen Lionel Messi play his last ever Champions League game for Barcelona? And if so, like, how?
I don't feel like it's his last game. I feel like he's staying. Honestly, like I'm more optimistic about him staying recently than ever before. But there's still a chance that he could leave. But if this is the way that he does leave, then like it just doesn't feel right. Like it's not the way
I
I'd
mean,
want it to go
history
out.
won't be kind to him. History really won't be kind to him. History won't look like, history will just, look at it as like, wow, he was the leader, he was a leader, he was the greatest, and, you know, he had all these players with him, and this was the result. Like, on paper, they'll look at Busquets, PK, for all that they've achieved over the years. Of course they will. They'll just open Wikipedia in 2052, right, and look at all their achievements, and they'll see that long list for the likes of Alba, for the likes of, probably even Sergio Roberto, because he's just been hanging around. Right?
Yeah, but you can still see the countless articles written on how these guys have been out of their prime for ages, and how the like Messi's been literally the only point in the team that is capable of producing something for the team for the past couple of years. So you can see that, you can read about that. So thankfully, these guys who are going to be reading and not knowing exactly what happened, they're not the ones giving him the awards or, writing the
No,
history
no
books.
one's
I
well,
get
no one's talking about
uh,
awards here. We're talking about
the
general
credit.
public.
The credit. Everyone knows what Messi has accomplished. Like you can't take
Yeah, no,
anything
we're
away
not.
from Lionel Messi.
we're
Like
not. We're not criticizing Messi on his like oneself. We're talking about his Champions League run. I'm saying history won't be kind to him in the regard that it will be looked back as a missed opportunity for him. On his,
I
perhaps
mean,
Messi
yeah,
himself, will be thinking about this 20 years later that
he wasted his prime. He wasted his
yeah,
prime.
wasted. He might be thinking that, ooh, like 5 years, 6 years of my like last 5, 6 years that I spent in Barcelona could have been spent somewhere else,
Of course,
or
and every Barcelona fan thinks that way. Every Barcelona fan that appreciates what Messi has done for this club thinks that way as well. That's why we've been a lot of like the fans at the club feel that if Messi left 2 3 years ago, nobody would have been on his back because he has done so much for Barca at that point that I wouldn't have blamed him if he left, and he should have left under that corrupt board of Bartomeu. But now I feel like the club is in a better position for Messi to look forward and see, okay, now there's people that actually care about the club running it, and someone that Messi is close with personally as well. So I feel like Messi seeing the amount of talent at the club and the positive direction we've been heading in lately, and the potential positive direction that we can even be heading towards further in the future under the leadership of Juan Laporta. I think he sees potential in a like staying at the club and making sure Barcelona transfer past that phase of returning back to European glory and competing in the Champions League and being the big club that we are. So I feel like with Laporta, Messi can see that, and hopefully that. I think there's a lot of talk about talent. There's a lot of talk about signings. There's also a lot of talk as well about Aguero potentially coming in. So,
yeah, I heard
um,
Aguero is coming on a free, so that
and here's the thing. I wanted to also like I've been asked about this. Like, what do I think about it in a way? Like, what do I think about Aguero coming to Barcelona? And here's the thing. Like, if he comes on a significantly lower salary, accepts a reduced role in the team, and can stay fit, obviously with Man City until the end of the season, then I honestly he'd be solid backup for whoever is at Barca. And let's not forget the quality that Aguero can produce, even if he's past his prime at this point. But he would be a decent backup coming off the bench, and he'd also be a fantastic addition to the locker room atmosphere as well because he's best friends with Messi. So that would also factors like this and the sporting project being convincing and the promising talents at the club. I feel like all of these variables and Messi being at Barcelona and his family and everything else, I feel that will convince him to potentially stay for like, further at the club. So it's not the same situation it was back when Bartomeu was managing the club, whereas you thought that Messi's going to just see out his contract, and by the end of it, he'll probably leave after we get knocked out soon, which eventually happened. But now it's a different situation in terms of how the atmosphere is at Barcelona, and that's good. But it's not 100% guaranteed as well. Like Laporta didn't say that I guarantee 100% that I will keep Messi at the club. That wasn't one of his promises. He said, with me, you have the best chance at Messi staying at the club. So he will do everything financially possible in terms of the club's finances and how they are to make sure that Messi stays. But I don't think if renewing Messi's deal is going to break the club financially. I think eventually they'll have to come to an agreement for Messi to leave and for both Messi and the club to benefit in a way. I think he'll have a much more dignified and a better exit that way. So if he stays, that would be obviously amazing. And that's probably what I think most likely will happen, inshallah. And if he doesn't, if he ends up leaving, he'll leave in a proper, dignified matter under this current board that wouldn't disrespect the legend that he was, like Bartomeu and those running the club at the time did. So he'll get that exit that would at least make us feel like, okay, it's time to go. Would have loved you to stay, but you've earned this at this point, and then now at least we're going to give you the farewell that you deserve. So
Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like it wouldn't be as bad as if it happened last season in the summer. So
Yeah,
if there's one
definitely.
good thing Bartomeu did is force Messi to stay, I guess. So
And I
at this
think
point,
even just Messi like leaving with a title, at least that would, some sort of silverware would be nice, and some sort of like, recognition and gratitude, and perhaps even if COVID's
statue,
better
a
with,
statue.
fans at, I mean, you can give a statue anytime, that's not a thing, but like, perhaps what might be more important is that if like, COVID restrictions are eased out, maybe fans can come back and give him a nice reception too. But let's move on to the other game. And we talked a lot about positives and what might be coming at Barcelona's way. But have certainly been positives coming Liverpool's way, playing at home away from Anfield. They've managed to score 2 goals, which is double
At,
the amount of
at
goals that
home,
they've
away
scored
from
at
Anfield.
Anfield in 2021. Now that's an insane stat. But they've gone on to do it, and they've beat Leipzig, which a lot would, you know, consider a much better team than the likes of Brighton and Fulham.
With all due respect.
With all due respect to
Brighton, Fulham,
Harry
and them,
Potter's
man.
men.
Maybe Liverpool should make the Puskas Arena their main stadium at this point. Honestly, that was
They
like.
might have to. I don't know. Maybe they can do something like, how Real Madrid have made Castilla their like home
or
stadium
or like
for this.
How Spurs played at Wembley for a bit. Now they did
Yeah,
horribly there as well. That's the thing. It's not a good example.
it's not the greatest example,
Yeah.
definitely, but it's it's been a curious case for Liverpool. We definitely saw over the weekend, you know, Klopp just go and rest out all his main guys, uh, except for except for like Robertson, couple of strikers. The like playing 11 that he fielded clearly more looked like a B side, or a side that you'd field after you had won the title. you know, clearly he's giving up, and I'm very soft on those words, giving up, because it is a competitive game, and it is, it is a profession. So it's not like he can just tie up his boots and just leave the game. But he definitely rested for this game, even though they were 2-0 up. Perhaps some scars from previous years, or from like earlier on the season, not trusting his team enough. But they've managed to do it 2-0. And the XG of the game was 3.5 roughly for Liverpool, but they just managed to score 2 goals, which is something very, very uncharacteristic about this Liverpool side.
I
Do you guys
mean,
think they have a like chance going forward in Europe?
Let's be honest. The Salah and Mane chance, the one-on-one where Salah shot and then Mane
That
hit,
was
that was
hilarious.
1.5 xg right there alone. I'm certain of that.
I don't think a chance can be 1.5 xg, Omar.
No, no, those
One
two
point.
combined. Those two combined.
Those I still don't think those two combined can be one. 1.5 xg, that would be like 0.75 xg each. So it, to get that chance, you should be scoring them 3 times.
Um, one thing I liked about Liverpool was the way Klopp set them up today. He actually started center backs in their position, and he started Fabinho in
Yes.
midfield. It's almost
Yes.
as if you play a player in his position, all of a sudden your team's gonna be a lot better.
I know you say that in a very silly tone, which I understand. Like, I kind of agree with you somewhat, but like, do you think now that, like, that uh the Turkish center back Kazak, right?
Back.
He's settled in a little bit, so they have like one center back to play, right? And the fact that perhaps since that they were 2-0 up already, he felt more comfortable starting Nat Phillips next to him. Because I think if it was the first leg, I don't think he would have done it. I think he would have started like Fabinho there. Do you agree?
For sure, 100%. I think. I still don't think that Klopp trusts any of his center backs whose name is not Virgil. Um, just the mere fact that he prefers to play Fabinho and Henderson in center back instead of bringing one of the actual defenders in, like, speaks for itself. And to be fair, the way we've seen them play, I think rightfully so, Williams has made too many mistakes, and he makes mistakes like on a consistent basis. Every game there's at least one major error causing to like a leading up to like a great chance. Today, I think today as well, Liverpool did maybe get away with it in terms of the fact that Leipzig did have a lot of chances. They were playing some great stuff. The finishing was not up to their usual standards, especially the ones we saw last season in the Champions League. They made it all the way to the semi-final. But credit to Liverpool and their forwards. Um, Mane and Salah finally on the score sheet after God knows how long.
I mean, given the fact that they've just scored one goal in entire 2021, shouldn't before tonight should give you the summary for all that.
It was the
Uh,
return of Jota today was massive for them as well.
hmm.
I feel
And
like
he looked really good.
Jota was
he
definitely
got
the
the assist.
best.
He got an
Yeah,
assist today as well.
he got the assist for the Salah goal, I think it was. Jota definitely made things happen in that Liverpool attack today. Um, Out of the front three, I think Salah. We've always known him as the guy, who leads the line with his press.
The
He's
go-to man.
always on you, no matter what. Mane's not performing, Firmino's not performing. No worries, Salah is there. We haven't seen that over the last few games, maybe over like the last 2 months. And today, I don't think he was that great either. There were times like you wouldn't see him normally go back like 2 3 months ago. You wouldn't see him give up the press. He would just continue running no matter what. Even if the back pass goes to the keeper, he will sprint to the keeper. And today, a lot of times when Upamecano got the ball or he'd play a back pass to Gulashi, he would just leave it at that. And today we saw Jota do his work for him basically. And I don't know if that was like a tactic employed by Klopp, telling Jota to, be the guy, or if it was just the fact that Salah, he's just out of it. But Jota returning into this team is huge. He was on great form before his injury, and now post-injury as well, he's coming with the same kind of form, same kind of energy. And going forward, especially in the Premier League or in the Champions League run, I think he's going to play a very, very important role.
Yeah, because like a lot's been made out of Liverpool's injury crisis, right? And rightfully so. I totally sympathize with them time and time again. They've been deprived of center backs, even though they've managed to, uh, you know, scramble for two today. Um, they're out of favor with their two first, second, and third like preferred partnership, and but looking at Liverpool games in 2021, before that, a lot of those results didn't have anything to do with, how bad their defensive record was. Like, defensively, they just concede one or two goals, which is understandable. It happens with a lot of teams, but like offensively, they weren't creating a lot of chances, or more so, they weren't finishing a lot of chances. Um, and perhaps this shakeup with the inclusion of Jota is something that, they just needed to go forward and to reset that.
The fact of the matter is that Jota has completely changed, I think, the way even the midfield plays. Before, we've seen Firmino do it for quite some time. He plays that, defensive striker role where he helps out
A
the
false
midfield.
nine.
Yeah, no, more like a 8.5 rather than a 9.
Giroud.
8.5.
No. Giroud is just something else, man. Greatest player to ever set foot on the planet.
Next
Don't.
next to Martin Braithwaite.
Okay, World Cup winner. Come on, let's calm down. World Cup winner right here. Um,
You guys just be quiet and put some respect on Chopu Moting's name.
Choupo-Moting.
was it at Stoke or at Bayern where he cleared the ball off the line? It was in the Champions
At
League last
PSG.
season, right?
At PSG.
At PSG, sorry.
It
In the
was
champ.
it was at PSG 2 seasons ago in Ligue 1.
Oh, okay. What a
Ismail is
player.
the hero. Ismail was the hero for them last year against Atalanta.
Yeah.
Mm. Oh, when he came off the bench, right?
I called it. I called that one.
I think you meant it more of a joke than.
I don't care. I called it. All right, going back to Liverpool. Um, is there any chance they're gonna make Champions League top four? Not a chance, right?
I don't
So
think so.
if you're Klopp right now, you gotta go for, the cup with the big roofs. You gotta go with Champions League. There's no chance your center backs are gonna be fit. You got this playing 11. All right. If Klopp just trains just for Champions League, you know, they've gotten through to round of 16. Now it's just a cup game. Umar, you've already said no chance. Abdullah, do you think they have a chance to like make it through and win it?
I feel every team has a chance, and especially that like now they know the league is gone, and Jurgen Klopp has made it no secret that he has given up on the league. He has conceded the league title. So I feel like top four honestly is almost, I'm not gonna say impossible because the Premier League is crazy and all leagues are crazy this season. So anything can happen. If Liverpool catch a run of form, they could easily be in that position. Nobody thought 1 month ago Chelsea would be in this position where they're looking realistically at fourth or third. Nobody 1 month ago thought that Atletico Madrid would drop top place from La Liga to now you're talking about Barcelona, Real Madrid jumping into the race and potentially winning it. So this season is crazy. It's not unlike any other. And as we saw Liverpool today, when their midfielders actually played in their position, like you said, they created better chances. They played better. They won today against Leipzig 2-0. And that hasn't been, like you said, Abdul, the defense hasn't been their main problem. It's been creating chances and the attack and scoring goals. It was them losing games and not scoring as well. That is the problem. When you're losing and you don't score, it's double the pain almost because you didn't even get to enjoy your team scoring and celebrating for a moment in that game. You just saw them come in there, lose, not score, and leave. That's it. So I feel like in terms of top four, it's pretty tough for them. I see them potentially making fifth or sixth, so at least they'll probably make Europa League. And in terms of Champions League, like in terms of Champions League, you're looking at teams like Bayern Munich, you're looking at Manchester City, and who, as teams who are consistent enough, do you think that these are the favorites?
PSG maybe.
I don't think so. I don't think PSG are favorites to
Mhm.
win this tournament. I think another team would expose a lot of their problems. Another team more clinical would really expose the flaws they have. But maybe they'll have Neymar, Di Maria later on, and they'll perform better.
No, for sure. I would put Bayern, City, and PSG as like the top three to win it.
Who's in there still? Chelsea, maybe. If Chelsea
Atletico.
make it,
I think
Atletico.
Atletico will go through
We have to
actually.
wait. I think we have to wait
Mm.
until we have all the list of
Mm.
those who qualified and we see the poll who the poll puts in, because
The,
Chelsea, like a Liverpool could get a Porto, for example, who all, like, with all due respect to Porto, like Liverpool could get a Porto and they could also manage to get
Get to
themselves
this,
into
yeah.
the semis. So now you're talking about another extra 2 games and you're in the final. So it's not really that impossible to do. Like, it all depends on, again, it's not just the way you play, it's not how good you are, it's also how lucky you are in terms of the poll and in terms of the
In
game and the
terms of your
chances.
draw,
So
right? Yeah.
luck is a part of the game, but it's not just luck, doesn't come from sitting. You create that luck most of the time. So I feel like they do have a shot in the Champions League, but if that's really all that Liverpool have in terms of hopes in getting into the Champions League, then I feel like pretty sad, because
Slim chances.
that's not something reliable to put your faith in terms of making it to the Champions League next season by winning the current one when you're in this current predicament. But who knows? A month from now, we could be talking about Liverpool,
the top
being
four.
in a much better position that they can actually, like, who thought Chelsea 2012 would win the Champions League? They were in a worse position than Liverpool at the moment, I think. And they just sacked their manager midway and signed the manager with no experience almost. And they ended
It's
up winning the
almost as
Champions
if
League.
that's what Liverpool need to do.
So you never know. This is the Champions League. That's the beauty of it, I guess. Like, any team can go on a run,
Yeah.
even no matter what's going on outside of the tournament. Like Real Madrid, for example, when they won those Champions League, a lot of those seasons, those Champions League weren't accompanied by Copa del Rey's and La Ligas. It was just the Champions League, and it shows that if a team really puts their head in terms of one tournament, they can do it. Like Real Madrid has done it before, Chelsea's done it before, Inter have done it before, and like, it's possible in football, but I wouldn't put my faith in that in terms of making Champions League by winning it. So we'll see, I
But then if
guess.
you look at it, if they don't win this tournament and they don't make it top four, uh, with top six, are all these star players gonna stick around?
That's a
Are
big
Van
question.
Dijk's, because first of all, a huge financial burden, right? Not getting Champions League. Second of all, you have all these players which are on the cups of their prime. Like, I don't like Salah, Mane, Van Dijk. They just got 1 or 2 years left. I don't think these guys are gonna be long term players. Like, they don't look it. They've already shown signs of slowing down at 28, 29, right? That doesn't show the elitist. I mean, only except for Messi, Ronaldo, we haven't seen anyone do it, right? Everyone starts to slow down at the 30s. So like, look at the likes of Eden Hazard now, right? So would they be looking for a move then, or will they stick around to play Europa League football one season?
I think if it just depends on the player. I think a player like Van Dijk remains at the club because he's just been injured for a long time, and I doubt any massive club at this moment would want to take the risk on Van Dijk after such a long injury. And he's not going to cost peanuts. So he's arguably the best defender in the world, even if he's been injured for a long time. And when he does come back, I feel like Liverpool might need that 1 year, a transitional year in a way. Just, it's not really a fully transitional. It's a year where they fix in the gaps that they thought were not there, such as the defense and their squad depth, and just focus on rebuilding that team in that year. But it's just a tough question to ask because a player like Mohamed Salah, for example, he has a plethora of opportunities to leave away in Europe. Like, I think Real Madrid would be interested in him. I think any big club in Europe would be interested in signing like a Mohamed Salah right now, or a Sadio Mane, for example. So it is a massive question to ask whether these guys will be willing to stay. I feel like Van Dijk is staying. I feel like Salah and Mane are big question marks. What do you guys think? I can't give a
But if you
verdict
look
on
at it,
this.
right, you include the transitional year, right? Van Dijk's 31, Perm 31, Salah's 30, Mane's 30, and then they're starting that competition. Like, it's it's a huge risk. You're just waiting for, sitting ducks.
The issue with that, this transitional year that we're talking about, I think you guys are looking over one very important aspect. Liverpool won the Premier League last year. They got a lot of money for that, and they didn't invest. They barely invested in anything, and they've been forced to invest now in the winter in center backs that no one has heard of. Let's be honest. Ozan Kabak, he had lost every single Bundesliga game up until January. Um, Ben Davis, I think third division, second division. I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Ben Davis is a virtual unknown for sure.
Exactly. So with winning the Premier League, these are the kind of investments their owners are making. And now without Premier League, maybe without the top four, without any Champions League rewards, like, do you guys really think their owners are going to be willing to invest and, fill in those gaps that we're talking about? Because I don't think they're going to be wanting to, take out their wallets and go out there and splash some money.
I believe they
Not
have
only
to.
that,
I believe
they're
they have
looking.
to, and I think like the winter signings they were forced into making, like unfortunately, like there isn't much options at that time when it comes to world class center backs that they would be able to sign at that moment. It's not just Liverpool; it would be the same for any other club. So I feel like now you can't really blame them for not splashing out the cash for a massive center back.
But
They
even in the
took
summer,
gambles.
even in
In
the
the summer,
summer,
they should. In the next summer, if they don't spend and fill in those gaps, like I said, it's going to be tough for them to bounce back. And again, a club like Liverpool doing what they did for the past 2 3 years and then reaching to a point where now they're not even sure of making UEFA Champions League. It's a massive step back, and I'm not sure like who in that lineup might be, at risk of leaving. Like player like Salah, Mane, and Van Dijk, every big player practically on that list. It's going to be up to Jurgen Klopp. Also, is not guaranteed to stay as well. So there might be changes at Liverpool going beyond just the players, and it's a tricky situation for them because now, are you talking about Liverpool as a club? Are they going to be able to attract the players that they need if they don't make the Champions League? That would be a massive question. And of course, they're a big club. Of course, it's an attractive prospect, but we've seen what has happened to someone like a Thiago Alcantara, for example, who's joined this season and after on the back of winning the Champions League and a treble with Bayern Munich. So any player, no matter how good they are, they can come into a system and things could crumble, and you see fans attacking them and turning on them in a way. So I don't think any player would want to take that risk right now after they've seen certain examples, and especially now with them being at risk of not making Champions League. So tough time to be a Liverpool fan, I guess. But today they managed to win, and I guess they still have that thing to keep at least watching Liverpool games beyond this point. So it's a good win, and you never know. Like this could start something good for them. This could start a chain of wins, a much needed chain of wins for Liverpool to help them bounce back into the season again.
and just to go back on your last point about Liverpool attracting players, I completely agree with you there. Like over the last 15, 20 years, we haven't seen Liverpool attract a lot of big names or big players. Um, at one point in, I think, 2012, 2013, they were attracting the likes of Andy Carroll, Ricky Lambert, Adam Lallana. These were their signings. And
Suarez as well.
I mean, Suarez, yes, but he wasn't supposed to be,
He
that
wasn't
great
that.
a player,
Yeah, yeah.
He wasn't.
Andy Carroll was the marquee signing that summer.
Andy Carroll
It
was
was
the big
all
one,
Andy
yeah.
Carroll. Yeah.
So I think what's changed with these big players coming in, by the way, still Salah, Mane, they were great players showing great potential, but they weren't, the star players. I think
World class,
Van
of course.
Dijk and Allison were the two star players that they bought. Other
Yeah.
than that, it was all developed, like players who developed at Liverpool. But the main attracting force there has been Jurgen Klopp, I think. The desire to play under him. We've seen him succeed at Dortmund, the way he plays, the way he's so passionate. I think a lot of players would want to play for a personality like that. And as you say, Klopp is not guaranteed to stay at Liverpool right now with these results. There's a lot of talk about him maybe moving on or being forced to move on, sorry. If he leaves, where do Liverpool go from there? I know the obvious answer is Steven Gerrard, but he's just signed a contract, I think, at Rangers earlier in the season. And
It might be a rash decision to just go sign Steven Gerrard based on one fantastic season with Rangers. I think you might burn his card too early if he doesn't go well.
definitely, I
Might
think
be
that,
Like Frank Lampard.
yeah, I was just gonna say it's the exact same situation as Frank Lampard. Give him another, few years to develop as a manager and then bring him in. But with Klopp, if he leaves, where do Liverpool go from there?
uncertain, man, honestly. Because honestly, like for a coach like Jurgen Klopp, like even though Liverpool weren't making Champions League when he initially came, and they didn't make it straight away when he spent his first season. I think they got eighth, right? in his first
Yeah,
season.
eighth.
So
Yes.
I think the appeal of those players signing for Liverpool was, like you said, Jurgen Klopp and his style of play, and a player that is a world-class player or a player with potential would be attracted to come to Liverpool because they would believe in a project. They would believe in a way that Jurgen Klopp will eventually get the team to a point, and I want to be there with them before they hit that success, so I can say, I've been there before. And I think a lot of these players see the potential in that system succeeding, but right now, with Klopp's job being at risk, whether you like it or not, and I think he has a lot of credit in the bank. So that's what's keeping him at the moment alive in terms of the Klopp out rumors. Earned so much that he's earned that a little bit of a cushion in terms of a run of bad results. And I feel that he still has time to turn it around again. And lucky for him, he does have that credit of winning the Champions League and turning Liverpool from the club they were a couple of years back to the what I
Yeah,
described in the
for sure.
fantastic team they've been for the past 2 years and a half. So he has a lot of that credit, and that's what's been keeping him. But if he does eventually leave, that will be a massive attractive factor about Liverpool gone from the club, and they won't have the Champions League or contending for the league title to hold up for them as that attractive factor. So
Definitely, he's been immense. Definitely one of the better, or if not one of the best coaches in the past few years. But quickly, I want to shine light on the other manager that Klopp faced today, uh, Nagelsmann, and he's been doing an immense job with RB Leipzig in the Bundesliga. He's been keeping them second, and I saw a tweet saying that, like, you know he's literally got Leipzig second with a FIFA starter pack, uh, which was because the kind of players that he has aren't known to be that star quality, and all of this might resemble somewhat of an effect that another German manager has, you know, Klopp, and he's just doing that on a scale and a different league at Leipzig. If Klopp goes out, right? How do you guys, Nagels replacing him?
I
And
think
not only because he's German.
I think he's a very young coach. There's no doubt about that, and he's shown a lot. I think he was at Schalke before this. Or Hoffenheim, sorry, and now at Leipzig, and he's done an immense job. Um, I still feel as though if he might he's a step ahead in terms of the Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard kind of category, but has he enough experience, especially at like the highest level, to take Liverpool to the next step, or get them competing again for the top trophies? He's done a great job with Leipzig. We've seen that in the Champions League. We've seen that last season as well. He took them, I think, to the semifinal. But there have been results. There have been results where he could have done a lot better, and he didn't set up his team right. I think both games against United, for example, I watched those live, and you know, Leipzig did look lackluster in both of them. You know, excluding that short period of time where they scored, I think twice. That there was a short burst where Leipzig kept attacking and scoring, but other than that, they they were lackluster, and I don't think he's the perfect manager for Liverpool in the sense of the passion and the energy, but I just don't think in terms of experience he's the guy.
So where do you see him going? Because, like, he surely can't be staying at Leipzig in a league where he knows that only one team's gonna win. And, like, sure, RB Leipzig has somewhat of a financial, uh, you know, backing from their owners and from their sponsors, but even then, it's not gonna be enough to win him or make him compete in the Champions League. So as a coach himself, he's got many offers. if you were Nagelsmann, where would you think about going, or what club do you think, or what league, or what position?
If you're Nagelsmann, I think you would want to go to Liverpool. But I'm speaking more from the point of view that should Liverpool go for him?
I think where
Um,
can he go, honestly? Like which club right now would need someone like a Nagelsmann at the moment? I think
what about
like
Real Madrid? Zidane, I
yeah,
mean,
what about Real
he's
Madrid?
there, yeah.
Like I don't think Barcelona would take him into consideration, unfortunately. And in this case, of course, you can't. In this case only, you can't say he's going to Bayern because he's a manager, not a player. Fortunately for Leipzig, so uh,
You never know.
so
Don't
yeah.
speak too soon. You never know.
So I feel like if he was a player, he'd fit the category, and maybe just maybe they could get confused a little bit, but more so, the reason why he can't go to Liverpool, and I say this with absolute humility, is that Real Madrid are way above Liverpool and these other clubs. They will never expect Nagelsmann, like an unproven manager, to just walk in. I mean, the
Loptegi,
likes
Loptegi,
the
Zidane,
likes
he
of
worked with the
Zidane
youth academy.
Carlo
He
Ancelotti.
never had a senior team.
is lagging
Yeah,
out.
but Zidane's a legend. Zidane's a legend. Are you really comparing the football legend Nagelsmann? Are you? You're not, right? You can't compare Zinedine Zidane to, what he's achieved and everything compared to Nagelsmann as a player, as a footballing icon. There was a different aura about him, and rightfully so. But going over,
Same thing with Lampard though.
really,
I mean, Lampard is a legend as well. He's a club legend. Like he has a lot of leeway in terms of like what he
yeah,
can
and
do.
that's why Real Madrid's here and Chelsea's here. That's why we have that distinction. There are like cultures, club cultures, that surround certain clubs, especially the top clubs, the likes of Bayern Munich, the likes of Real Madrid. I like where certain criteria have to be met, okay, to be
What about
somewhere near
Solari,
that.
man? What about Solari?
Again, he was also kind of like an imitation. All right, let's just try this guy, and it didn't work out. And how long did these how long did these managers last for? Not even a complete season. Some of them not even a quarter of a season, right? Because those were just stopgap like managers just to fill the time and get it over with.
They're
But
forced to get Zidane back though. The end of it.
yeah, so the thing with Zidane is that, like, the reason it's not that Madrid have a problem with coaching or anything. We just don't have the players. We really just don't. We're running out of fumes, right? It's If we get investment, Zidane stays. If we get the likes of Mbappe, Haaland, Zidane stays definitely. Like, if we get the players we need, Zidane
But
stays.
we didn't talk about Mbappe today. He, he was
He
he
was
was
pretty good.
shut he
I
was shut
mean,
down
we
today.
didn't
He
talk about him because he didn't do anything.
didn't do anything today. I think he was in even he was in
Eh,
Firpo's pocket in the second half as well.
He
He wasn't
he
really
scored. His
I
dangerous.
penalty was very good,
I think in
and
terms of the
He didn't
game,
do anything to get that though. Like, but yeah,
Pochettino set up his team in a way that they weren't really expected to attack. They were gonna sit back always and defend that 4 goal away lead, And I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I think in the first half, on the few occasions where he did get the ball and he ran at the defense, he did a good job. I think he won a few great free kicks, which might not sound a lot for a player like Mbappe, but I don't know. Like, I think it's unfair to judge him like about his impact on today's game specifically, given that Pochettino set up to defend only.
and I think it's also unfair to give him too much credit on that first leg as well because we weren't set up the way we were today. Like I
I
feel
mean,
we
he scored a
closed
hat trick. I believe he.
a hat trick filled with mistakes though. Like there was a mistake of a penalty that we gave him away.
That's how
Longley
all
gave away a
players. That's
penalty
how
in the.
all players score goals.
But no, I'm
Listen,
saying
someone
like
has to make a mistake for the other person to
not
thrive. It's a
always.
give and
No,
take.
not always though. Like I'm
Of
talking about the
course.
penalty. I'm talking about the ridiculous mistakes. You know what I'm talking about? Like the ridiculous mistakes that Longley has been committing in that first leg he gave away his penalty. So his hat trick wasn't like a sublime hat trick with him destroying everyone. Like that last goal was amazing, but his goals came mostly from our deficiencies rather than his brilliance. And today, when he was given less space and we actually played decent, he was nowhere to be seen. He didn't have the acres of space he did in that first leg to sprint and be allowed to roam and take shots from specific dangerous areas. He got a chance today, I feel, to score, and he bottled it as well. So don't say he
Yeah,
didn't
in
get
the
any chances.
82nd, 84th minute, he
Like,
like I think that was his best movement of the day. But like
The
I
tie was
also
over
agree
at
with
this
Umar.
at
Yeah,
this
but
point.
you're
Yeah.
Mbappe. I don't think like the tires over was in his brain. I think he wanted to win that game, and he
I
missed.
don't think he has that mentality. I really
You
think
think he
we've
was
been
like, it's
watching.
already 1-1. I don't care. Let me miss a one-on-one with
Okay,
Barcelona at home.
definitely he didn't go out and like
I
intentionally
thought he
miss
was
the
all about
shot.
the elite mentality and come back. And
Listen,
he would have wanted
we've
to
been
score
watching
that one.
Ronaldo and Messi for too long. We think every their mentality. They don't 16 seasons on that kind of performances and like expect these guys to carry on.
But yeah, but it's ridiculous to blame like him saying like he didn't care about the match, so he missed that. That's why he missed that. Like
No,
that's
I'm just saying like it's not that like important that I think he was looking for a
Okay,
goal.
okay, boys. This has been great, but it's almost 3 a.m. and I feel like before this gets into carried into like a heated debate,
it's
I think it's time to end this podcast.
It has been fun,
Uh,
Omar.
I agree.
Thank you for hosting.
it has been great. Thank you for all the listeners who have stayed till more than an hour and a half probably at this point. Thank you to Abdul Rehman. We know you're very busy with uni work. Thank you for Abdullah showing once again why he's such a trusted journalist, up and coming journalist, inshallah. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another edition of the Two Halves podcast. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button and keep your notifications on. And until next time, we'll catch you in the next half. Bye bye.